Sumeru is gonna have a map in the desert. So what type of characters will they have there? Oh, they are very white. I thought they would at least be tan, but they are basically as pale as me. Well, I suppose I shouldn't be too surprised. It's Hoyo we're talking about. And now it's time for Natlan, huh? So they're gonna be inspired by places with generally dark-skinned people. That's cool. And then, since it's the nation of Pyro, then it would make sense that there would be people of color there. I wonder what beautiful POC characters we will get, and they're all as pale as ever, with 2 characters being barely even tanned, and 1 character that looks to be more dark-skinned. Hi everyone, this is Ellie, more known as my virtual coffin, but you can call me Coffin. And I apologize if you can hear the fan in the background, but I need it on right now because it's getting kinda hot. And today I'll explain why I stopped playing Genshin Impact, and unless Hoyo changes themselves, I won't ever play it again. So I was already starting to feel weird and almost ashamed to play Genshin once they dropped Sumeru and revealed that all of their characters were as pale as ever, and the only few characters with darker skin like Dea, Candice, and Sino, and those are just lightly tanned. Sumeru is supposed to be inspired by Egypt, India, and Arabia, according to what I found when searching it up on Google. And let's just quickly look at the people in the real world coming from those places. So first off, Egypt. Okay, so there are very white people, more tanned, and very dark skinned people. Cool. Now India. So from what I can see here, Indian people are either tanned or dark skinned. And now Arabia. And these also seem to be either tanned or dark skinned. So are all the Sumerian characters the pale or tanned people in Egypt? Because then Hoyo should have scrapped the idea of having Sumeru be inspired by Egypt, India, and Arabia, and instead say that it's inspired by parts of Egypt, and then it would have been more okay. Later on, when Fontaine came along and it was going to be inspired by France, and I also heard about Britain was going to be in the inspiration, I was totally fine with the new characters having the same hue as snow for skin. When I searched it up, I got Genshin Impact 4.0's Fontaine is heavily inspired by France. And if we take a look at people from there, then all or at least most of the French people looks to be generally be white. So with all characters from Fontaine being light skinned, it does make sense. And after Fontaine, we were getting Natlan. And when I searched up the question on Google, what country is Natlan based on, I immediately get Natlan appears to be inspired by several indigenous cultures, primarily those of pre-colonial Latin America, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Oceania. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, so I will just say Oceania. Though other more minor influences, such as from the American Southwest, are also present. So now let's take a quick look. First, people from pre-colonial Latin America. So from what I can see, these were very tan and dark skinned. Now Sub-Saharan Africa. And on these images, I don't see a single light-skinned or even tan person. All of them are very obviously people of color. No Oceania, and once again, I don't see a single white or tanned person. All of them looks to be dark skinned in every single image. They are all people of color. So now let's take a look at the characters from Natlan. Mualani looks to be tanned, Kachina light tanned, but still very light skinned. Kinich is very white, Sun has the darkest skin color here. I would love to see more of that. Mavuika, the Archon, just as pale as every other Archon. Zitlali is very pale, and so is Chaska. Sunan looks to be very lightly tanned, heavy emphasis on lightly, and Oberon is also lightly skinned. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing other names, I'm not very good at names all the time. Now I'm sure that we'll get many more new characters, but from what I have seen in a video that I don't remember what it was called from which channel, but I can try finding it again. As long as Hoya has a fan base that they have, then the chance of getting actually dark-skinned characters in the future is basically none. Because from what I saw in the video, their biggest fan base is really racist and finds dark skin ugly, and they are okay with tanned characters. What? So, what I'm understanding this as is that Hoyoverse won't give us good representation because the majority of their fan base is racist? Do they not have any moral compass? Do they have no shame? Me personally, I refuse to show my support to racists. I have even stopped wearing my Electrovision because I'm so disgusted by the blatant and clear disrespect of marginalized and hated on people who has done us no harm. So based on how each character looks, Mualani looks like she could be inspired by people from Oceania, just based on those markings, because I saw similar looking markings when I looked up images of people from Oceania, which means that Mualani is supposed to not just be tanned, but a whole lot darker skinned. They really ripped away all her melanin. And if you try telling me that her white and blue color scheme wouldn't look good with the darker skin, then just as an example, take a look at Mirko from MHA. She's hell of a lot darker than Melanie, and she got white hair and a white hair too, and she looks beautiful. Now let's look at Kachina. She looks like she could be inspired by Sub-Saharan Africa due to her accessories, which means that she's supposed to be a lot darker too. She's supposed to be a very black girl based on what she looks to be inspired by. Now let's take a look at Kinich. He looks like he could be from Sub-Saharan Africa too, which means that they really ripped all the melanin from him. If I'm correct with my assumption, then he's supposed to be a black man, and not as pale as me. Next up is Jansen. I can't really tell if that's a guy or a gal, so I'll use they and pronouns for now. They look like they could be inspired by some sort of mix of Sub-Saharan Africa and Oceania, which just means that while they are the closest to their skin color they're supposed to be, they could still be a lot darker in complexion. Like I think they could be at least 2 or 3 shades darker. Now to the Archon herself, Mabuika. Based on appearance, she looks to be inspired by some sort of mix of pre-Columbian Latin America and Africa. And that means that while she can be paler than the rest, she should still have a darker skin tone. And a darker skin tone could also look really pretty with her red hair. I also saw a thumbnail where her hair was apparently glowing, and damn, that would look so beautiful on her if she was a black woman. Next up on the list is Zitlali, who looks to be inspired by a mix of Africa and Oceania, so she also got stripped of all her melanin. If I'm correct with my assumption, then she's supposed to be a very black woman, and she would definitely look very pretty as such. Now to Chaska, and I do find it a little difficult to see where she could be inspired from, but my best guess is Africa, just based on her clothing. And that means that she should be a black woman. If my guess is correct about her real life inspiration, then she's absolutely not supposed to have the same skin tone as me, and she's supposed to be like at least 7 or 8 or so shades darker than me. Then we get the Silonen, and she looks to be inspired by both Africa and Oceania, with a lean towards Oceania. So while she's very likely tanned in game, they can tan her hell of a lot more. Based on the real life locations, she's supposed to be a lot darker in this game though. Now finally it's Oberon, and from what I've heard, he's supposed to be inspired by a specific god, who is a black man, and they made him barely even tan. And in the video I watched where the creator showed comments of people saying that dark skin is ugly, he also showed comments saying that those people said that the villagers all have black skin. I wonder why those are not enough. Maybe because the villagers are an enemy in the game who we continuously kill over and over, which is not at all a positive view on a group of people who is already killed and discriminated against because of their skin color. So if we go based on those comments wondering why we aren't satisfied with the villagers being dark skinned, we in a metaphorical sense kill off the black people who, because they are our enemy, and we side with the white and tan people. And if anyone brings up like Xinyan or Kaya and asks us to look at them to tell what their skin tone is, both those characters are tanned. Not dark skinned, they're tanned. So for the conclusion of this video, as long as Hoyo keeps making only white and tan characters without any black representation, and deliberately and intentionally keeps away from making dark skinned characters due to racism, and doesn't show any positive representation in the game, I will never play Genshin Impact ever again. And the game is too big for my iPad anyway, so I can't play it even if I wanted to. So my lack of Genshin gaming started off as unintentional, and now is as intentional as it can get. And if you don't like nor support the racism from the company either, and you wanna have even a small chance of seeing actually black characters in the future, then stop playing the game. I don't care if you have come really far in the game and you love the characters and love to play with your friends. If you actually care and don't wanna support a racist company, then stop playing the game. You can look at gameplays all you want, just don't open Genshin Impact and don't play it. And if you really wanna make sure you don't support them, then you can do like I did and unsubscribe to their socials, since views and likes on YouTube also gives them a lot of money that they can use on the game. And I'm unsure if this will work, but if enough people stop playing the game and stop interacting with the company, then maybe they'll consider making black actors and we might get them. Now, as much as I used to hate this term, I will now also start calling it Genshin Impact. And damn, that one and the cosplay choosing Genshin over black visibility mouth really says something now. Mentioning that, I'm not sure I wanna wear my Venti or Shanyun cosplay again. And thank you so much for coming to the end of this video. Hope you liked it. Or maybe you didn't come this far. I don't blame you. I like to talk a lot whenever I get passionate about something. Or maybe you just didn't like my voice, and that's fine too. My voice might sound a little tired right now, and that's maybe not everyone's cup of tea. But I hope you have a good morning, day, evening, night, wherever, whenever you are, and I might see you in my next video. I won't force you to stay here. Bye.